here. So yeah, right, off you.
Shall I
Right,
start again?
and go.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a content creator on TikTok, and I've been on it since it was Musically. So back in 2016 is when I started. I took it full time at the end of 2019. So essentially, I earn my income by working with brands. That's the main source of my income, and then I've also along the way helped other like small businesses or some large businesses plan out how they're going to grow on TikTok and do the same basically. And I've also done content creation for some accounts. So I've done a mix of work around TikTok. And my main like theme has always been around humor, comedy, just anything with like good vibes is what I'm about.
Great, awesome. I mean, and when we get into more detail, I mean, I'm actually going to make you a co-host as well, because think it'd be really good for us to have a deep dive into, go onto the platform, or are you able to do that and show some stuff as well? Because I think it will be really sort of
I've got my
helpful.
phone on me.
You got it, super. Okay, Alison, tell us about you.
Oh, okay. I am the co-founder and company director for Tickled Moon, and we create personalized children's books. We've only been going about 20 months, but we've created 5 books to date so far, which we're selling around the English-speaking world, mostly to grandparents. So the reason I come to Gordon is to try and expand that to a more parent-based market, as well as capitalizing on the grandparents out there, if we can, with influencer marketing. I don't know. So yeah, so that's me, and that's where we're at.
Great. And then Eleanor, do your thing.
My thing. So I run a marketing and video consultancy. I've been in marketing 27 years, self-employed 25 years, 5 years even. And I work with a range of SMEs, essentially becoming their marketing department. So I take the pain out of their marketing and reduce their overwhelm. So I live on social media. I'm on TikTok because I have 2 girls. So and they try to teach me how to use it. I've not adopted it from a business perspective yet, I'll be honest with you. One of the reasons why I'm here is because I quoted recently an international client who is in the music industry and really pushing a singer, and she needs to be on TikTok. She's younger, that's her market. So hence I thought, when I saw Gordon's, because I'm on a course or working with the same coach as Gordon, to scale my business now. So I'm looking much more on the creating and building an agency and taking myself out of the front line the whole time. So yeah, that's me.
Very good, very good. And so I'm just going to share with you, if I may, a little bit about what the roundtable is all about. Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
okay,
indeed.
okay. Right,
Yeah.
right. So, what I do is I host a weekly roundtable on a Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock, and we cover all sorts of different subjects. This is the first time that we set a bit of a session just focusing on TikTok. First time we've had a guest actually, so I'm really pleased to. Well, but of course I've known you for ages, Sherice, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've been a guest on my podcast and all sorts of things. So a little bit more about me is there you go. Right, so I host a podcast on called Influence, and now in our 3rd season, and Sherice has been on one of them, which is great. I'm also a proud author of Influencer Marketing Strategy. Hurrah! And that was published in March last year. A balls aching job, I'd have to say. 300 pages, 86,500 words. My sister said to me, "Don't." And I ignored her at my peril. But it has been great. It's been, I mean, it's not, I haven't earned a penny from it yet, but I know that it's one of the things where it's as much. I mean, we've sold over 500 copies already, globally, considering it's only in March. It's not a bad shout, is it really? And then other ways, I do quite a lot of speaking gigs. I'm also a panel host. In fact, Sherice and I have been on panels before in the influencer marketing space as well. And obviously, I run my own one-to-one program, which is briefly here. I won't go into too much detail. I know Alison's seen it before, but effectively it's helping individuals grow and define their influence. So I've got a classic journey map there, which is moving them through the discovery phase and understanding what they're all about now, helping them grow their audience to hopefully becoming a much more influential. And I'm living, breathing it because it's what I've done before. And for somebody that has only entered the market 2 years ago, I like to think I've done a lot of really good things. Probably my target audience is slightly older, not Sherice's age because they're killing it already. The slightly older 40 plus maybe type of client that has got a lot of knowledge but not really leveraging that as much as possible. So you can read down the way in which I process. I won't go into too much detail, but there you go. A little bit about TikTok just before we get into Sherice. I think it's quite fascinating to see how this has just grown. It's now over 3 billion downloads as an app. It just amazes me how it's grown so much. But I still think there is there's a growing, the age group is growing. I mean, once upon it, when it first came out, and Sherice will back me up on this, it was still quite a younger person's network. And I think for some people that don't know about it, they assume it is. But actually, the age profile is growing a lot. Lots of big brands are diving into this because the engagement is insane. It really is the number of views. And I always say, when you're looking at influencer marketing, you've got to be doing three things. You're either educating, you're either inspiring, or you're entertaining. It's not about self-promotion. It's not about broadcast. It's, people are fed up with the yawn stuff. What they want is stuff that's got to be one of those three things. Everything's got to involve around animals. In fact, I run this influencer marketing secrets group, which you're all members of. And I put something up the other day from Hype Auditor. I don't know if you remember seeing it, but animal posts now are generating the highest amount of revenue. So if you want to work with Pug the dog, it's going to cost you quite a lot of money. But I'm just going to flick through some of these things, some of the top trends of what people are using are using TikTok for. I'm just going to flick through some of these, and as I say, Sherice will share more with her own. So videos based on trending hashtags. So anything that's out there that's trending, a big thing at the moment. Song imitations, and I love the sort of lip sync things. They seem to have been very popular. Then you've got dialogue reenactment. So they've got one of the things. This is the TikTok has really helped people promote their creativity. So you've got almost actors coming out of this, being able to, as I say, reenact plays or film pieces with the original voices. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, cute animal videos, definitely. There's been some great videos of making art. I love the sort of behind the scenes stuff. And also calming videos have been very popular. Voiceovers. Prank videos, and that's something that Sherice specialises in.
Oh no, I don't do pranks.
I
like comedy. I don't do pranks.
Oh, you do comedy. Beg your pardon. You do comedy. Right. Beg your pardon. Yeah. Also, there's life in quarantine. Whole sorts of. I tell you what, I have noticed is, and again, this is something that I know we'll talk about. Is there's a much bigger growth now in series. Stuff that isn't just one-offs. And if you look at the way that we consume Netflix, for example, what's been really fascinating there is how we get into it. We almost binge watch. We want to know the next installment. So I think that's what's been really, really good about TikTok. Also stuff like science experiments, stuff that explodes, changes color in front of you. Makeover videos, a lot of beauty influencers are sort of killing it on that. Obviously, fitness rather, has been very, very popular, particularly during lockdown. And of course, let's not forget social media challenges as well. One of the things I like about the challenges is that there's a cut-off date, there's a momentum, there's a right, let's get on this together. So I think those have been very popular. Right, so there we go. Let's have a chat with Sherice now, and this is very informal. So do feel free to sort of hop on.
Yeah, ask any questions.
Yeah, and that's
Anyway.
basically what the whole session is going to be really about. So just let's take us back, Teresa, when you sort of first started, when the platform was out there. What were you, what were you, presumably you were experimenting? I mean, you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing. You didn't know where it was going to go there. What were
Oh no, no.
you, so how did you get started?
I was just interested in the app because it had a good vibe. I actually came across it. So I was starting up my own business and I was looking up ways to market it. And that was on YouTube, fell across Musically. That's how I found the app. So I never intended it for me. I was like, oh, I could build up a bit of like presence on here to like market my own business. That was the plan. And then I just fell into a pit of creating my own brand and that became my thing. So it was a vibe for me. Like it's always had really good vibes. Even if you go on there now, I would say overall, like the community I found very much for myself has been overwhelmingly positive. Once you find like your tribe of people, they are very much there to support you. Whereas I just compare it like most, as it's so popular to Instagram. Instagram, if I put out something and it blows up, you tend to attract a lot more negativity typically than you would do on TikTok. So I would say overall, people just have a much more self-deprecating and relaxed mindset on TikTok than compared to Instagram. So I like that kind of community vibe about it. And the good thing is as well with TikTok is you're not tied to like your last video. So if you have a video that does well, great. Like it doesn't mean your next one's going to do well. It doesn't mean your next one's going to do bad. Each one is evaluated in itself. So you just kind of feel like relaxed to an extent because it's all about what you're creating next. Your next piece could be the thing to take you off and it might spiral into the next one and into the next one, or it might not be so good, and you just work on it. You can just focus on the next piece and like how you want to connect with people. So you always have a chance to do well, I feel.
I mean, I just shared with you some of those more popular case studies. Effectively, I mean, does that resonate with you? You know, when you're on it a lot of the time, what are you noticing now? What are some of the big trends that you're picking up?
Yeah, it was interesting. So I would actually say, because I know the first point on there was about like trending hashtags. Hashtags were very big before and people like were very like hot on them. What hashtag challenges are popular? Even if you go on like the Discover page, you'll see like the hashtags there that some people are creating content around essentially. But I'd say the focus is less so now hashtags and it's more so the songs. I mean, it's been like that for a while anyway. And the more you get familiar with TikTok, the more you start to understand anyway, it's so driven by music.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's like dominated what's in the charts, because it's all like driven around music. And just a tip, if you are going to jump onto TikTok and you want some content to do well, a way that you can try and tap into that is by using trending sounds, because the algorithm typically tends to push it out to more people. So you'll go through your For You feed. That's the main way to consume content on TikTok. You go through that and you'll start to see, oh, I've listened to this song like 5 times now. I've seen 5 different videos with that same sound. And it's because that's how the algorithm will essentially push out content to you. You engage with one video that has that sound, you'll start seeing a load more with the same sound. It's just how it works. So if you want to tap into that and want to reach more people, that can be a good way. But I personally, I like to do a mixture. I sometimes use trending sounds. I sometimes do my own voice, so it's my original sound. Just because I like to create like different content, I like to do sketches and that sort of thing. So I don't need music necessarily, but adding music in the background and like putting it under that sound can help to push it out in the algorithm.
Okay, brilliant. So talk to me about your sketches, because I know that's something that's really important. I don't know if either of you have seen anything that Sherice has put out at all. Have you?
No, Sherice, do you have your own channel? Sorry, is it channel? I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah, no, I'd probably call it a profile on TikTok.
So you do your own stuff. It's not just for other people, or do you do both?
No, that's right. Yeah, my main thing is my own page. So my name that you see here on Zoom, Sherice Banton, is my name on TikTok. Oops. Yeah, so I create.
What are you promoting? Are you promoting what you do, or what do you promote? Yeah, what's your kind of thing?
Yeah, so the content that I create is all around humor. So I'll just take things that come up in my day-to-day life that I think are humorous. I can turn this into a sketch, and that's the content that I put out personally. When it comes to working with brands, they usually choose to work with me because I've got that kind of right audience that they feel would be interested in whatever it is they're also trying to promote. So for example, I've worked with like Haagen-Dazs, I've worked with Adobe, like HarperCollins, like for books, loads of different things, like even fashion. It's the real wide breadth because my content is about the vibes, the energy, the fun. So it's a bit more broad than say if I was just like a fashion influencer. I feel like there's different things that can slot into what I do, and what I feel my audience would be interested in. But it all comes down to, for me as a creator, it comes down to what I value as well. So I don't just partner with anybody. I have to be true to like what myself is, because they know me and follow me for what I do and what I am, basically.
Absolutely. And I always say that when I'm advising people, don't think that, lots and lots of brands just reach out to influencers and content creators and they don't get a response. And it's not necessarily because they're being rude; it's because actually there isn't a good glove fit there, and that's what's so important. The number one priority for you is your audience, isn't it? And making sure that you are delivering content that they like. They're following you; they're not following the brand. But I guess the way is the brand wants to get to your audience, but do so through your voice and your creative content. By the way, a big hello to Gaz, who's joined us from Wales as well. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah.
How
Do you know
are you?
all my round tables, they're all women. I don't think
Aren't
I've
you the
had a
lucky
guy
boy,
ever in
Gordon?
any. I must be a female magnet. Anyway, so really interesting insight there. So let's just talk. So with Alison, for example, so Alison has got this fantastic books, and they're beautiful. And how would she get their products through on TikTok? Because there's potentially a massive audience there, and you've already worked with a publisher.
Yeah.
What would your sort of strategy be?
So it's interesting because so I don't know how familiar you are with TikTok and kind of how people refer to themselves. So what you'll find basically when you go on TikTok, you have all these different niches because everyone consumes content from the For You page, and what you engage with will dictate what comes up on your For You page. So what you find now is it's become a thing for people to like niche themselves in a way. Like there'll be hair talk, there's book talk, like all the different sort of categories that people like, oh, I'm on book talk, oh, I've come on to like murder talk because people are talking about like crime stories and this sort of thing. So what might be a good starting place at least would be to search book #book talk, like book and then TOK, just for the inspiration part. What I found with like the content that's come up on TikTok for books is one that I really like is people will literally just talk to the camera as if they're doing a first person view or story or recount of what the plot of that story is. Now, I don't know if it's going to work for yours, because is yours for really young children? Because you said it was going to be grandparents that are.
Yeah, it's sort of picture books, but they're personalised, and often they're personalised for the child and an adult as well. So you can have a child and a grandparent or a parent within the book itself. That's been what's really taken off for us with 2 of our books. So, but we have.
Oh wait, sorry, did you say they're personalised then?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Right, so I could have me in there.
Yeah, so you've got the birthday boo, which is one, and you've got, the longest cuddle.
Oh, amazing.
And
okay.
adventures. So yeah, it's kind of, there's a whole, let's say different.
Yeah. So as a generic then, like that's been something that's worked really well because people can tie people in with the plot. So that's a generic idea, I guess. More for you, I think it comes back to like the stories about the family or the person or the people that you kind of feel would be interested in putting themselves essentially into that book.
Yeah.
So there's different ways you could do that, because you could do that through content on your own page and grow organically and obviously reach people that way. And you don't need to have a large audience to reach people. You can start with 0 followers and still have videos that have thousands of views, and you might be getting, say if you did get low views to start with, and you could have one video that takes off, and that could be the thing that pushes sales because suddenly it's reaching people. I've seen it happen.
Is that because she's used the book talk? In other words, rather than do all things to all people by niching it down to hashtag book talk. Is that
no, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. No.
No, because it still doesn't come down to the hashtags. I'd say using hashtag book talk would help other people find you. If they were to search themselves, it might give you a chance of standing out there. I don't put a lot of emphasis on hashtags because it's really not going to be the factor that determines whether your video does well or whether it reaches more people. What determines that is whether people are actually watching the video to the end and ideally watching again and again, because they're usually short videos on TikTok. That's what's the determining factor.
And should it come from, should Alison do the video herself, i.e. as the person behind the brand, or should she embark on working with a TikTok influencer, somebody like yourself, for example?
It's completely up to you.
And then say, look, there's a ready-made audience there that could blow it up quite quick, you know?
It's completely up to you, because these are just different marketing approaches. I mean, obviously, if you did it yourself, then you've got a free form of advertising. You don't have to pay someone to do that, do you?
Sure.
So yes, you can work with influencers. There'll be plenty of creators out there. That'd be great to do, because you can focus on that. It could be like a vlog type process of like, oh my gosh, I can put myself into this video. Like I either have like a daughter. I don't have a daughter. I'm just as an example. If I had a daughter, or I've got my little brother or something, and we put both of us into the story, and I was filming like their reaction to like actually gifting it to them and talking about it, that would make for a really like heartwarming and like interesting story. And people would be like, oh my God, I'd love to have like one myself, because I'd love to see myself or my relative, whoever it is, in that book. That would be a nice way to go about it. And that might be something. Maybe there are video like testimonials you can get in that sense, where people have filmed like the reaction already. I don't know if you can reshare those, or for you yourself, you might just do a behind the scenes processes are so great. They're so interesting on TikTok. When people just share like that process of how we put these books together. Oh, I've got this customer, so I'm going to be putting this story together. And you don't even have to necessarily show your face or talk. You can just film the actions, put it to some music, maybe add some text to contextualize what is going on. And that will be like your video content. It doesn't have to be this really clever thing. It can just be as simple as like, this is honestly the process, or this is my next customer, and this is what we're doing.
Or somebody opening the book for the first time and getting that wow emotion, because I think that's what you're saying, isn't it? It's the authenticity and the naturalness of that experience. And people don't want, because I think one of the problems with some of the fashion influencers on Instagram, you get this feeling of over curated, over polished stuff, and people are getting a bit tired and fed up with it. They can't relate to it.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody
real and honest, authentic is 100% the way forward.
I totally agree with you. Totally. All right, that's really good. Anna, from your type of, you've got the girls. What are the girls doing, and what and particularly what, or maybe your new client that you're looking at overseas? How anything you want to ask, Sherice?
Yeah, I mean, my girls are they're doing dancing. I mean, I think my oldest, she's 13 and a half. She started following Charlie D'Amelio, that crazy, huge following. And that's, I think, how she got into it. And I literally just dropped my youngest off to summer camp, and she was talking about her For You page. And I was they talk about this sort of stuff in normal conversation. I looked at TikTok, I think it was last year, around marketing brands or how they were starting to use it. And I didn't see a huge amount, I'll be honest. So this client that I'm looking at, that's kind of in the music industry. So I think it's music. They write their own music. She's a young 20-year-old beautiful looking girl. She's, I can get content for her in terms of video, singing. And I've sort of already said I need behind the scenes because I think that's very similar across all social media channels anyway. But I suppose as well from a selfish point of view, is how are marketing brands using TikTok to really leverage business? Because that's the key thing, isn't it? It's great to get the awareness, great to get your brand out there, but it's to want business out of it. Want to get, people visiting our websites or whatever it is.
Do you mean for you yourself? So
Yeah.
you're getting clients as a marketing agency?
Yeah.
Makes sense, because I have engaged with a lot of that kind of content on TikTok. It might be a case that you just haven't fallen across it yet, but there's loads of people out there who are marketing like their services in loads of different ways, like whatever it is, whether they help people grow a podcast, whether they help people market themselves, grow on Instagram, whatever it may be. I guess yours may be, do you work with businesses typically?
Yes, I'm pretty much B2B, so I work with a whole range of businesses, could be across all industries. The one that I would think about straight away is one where I've worked influencers before, which is it's in snow sports. So they run indoor snow slopes in the UK and now one in Madrid as well. So, and the influencer bloggers, they're great. They work really, really well. And we get approached by them now, but they're not using TikTok. I haven't really suggested, I run their social media, I haven't suggested it yet because I don't know, I'm not confident enough yet in as much as, this is how you use it. But that is one I can see really working well. But in terms of, for me as a marketing agency, and also we do video as well. So my partner works with me on the video side of the business. So we've got no problems with creating video apart from time. It's just what to put out there. I'm not the kind of person that's going to start dancing, singing, being silly on video. No, that's not me.
Don't expect that to be the way. I think a lot of people
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
I have done one.
have to, and they don't. You really don't. You can't do anything.
I cringe when I see people do that on Reels on Instagram. I hate it. I scroll.
Yeah, it becomes a bit repetitive as well. But yeah, I would say if you're going to try something like that, I mean, there's different ways people have gone about it and that you can go about it. So most people, when they're trying to kind of advertise their service, but they do it indirectly in a way, because essentially they just go about giving value first. So if you can talk about different strategies that you might know, and it might just be one little tip as that video to kind of say, you can try this. We've tried this with somebody and it got them X results. Those type of videos to just explain your experience or like your knowledge, and you do that in a way that's like fairly engaging, because people have a short attention span, so it's not like long it out, it's kind of like a bit more get to the point. But if you do stuff like that and you're just talking to the video, or there's a way that you can showcase some of that without showing your face and you're doing a voiceover, if you preferred that way, then that might be a way you go about it. And typically when people are like showing their services or they point to their services, it usually is that kind of format that I've seen, and it can work well obviously because then you're showing what you can do to then appeal to them. So that might be an option for you. But yeah, I think there's going to be different ways around it depending on the kind of knowledge that you want to share anyway. I mean, you might be thinking, I don't want to share too much, I don't know.
You have to share, that's the way it is. And actually listening to you talking, I think the fundamentals of TikTok are actually similar across all platforms, the principles, I mean, in terms of sharing value, being, like you were saying earlier about being engaging, educating, entertainment, they're exactly the same pretty much across all social media channels. I think TikTok has this perception that it's for the young, you're absolutely right, that it's just about being silly on camera or being creative or not, I remember doing a talk, I think it was last year, about social media. I mentioned TikTok and I could see people going like this, and I said, no, I'm not going to ask you to start dancing and doing full, dance display on TikTok. That's not what I'm going to ask you to do. But it's how a B2B brand can really adopt it to build that following.
There's lawyers in America that I've seen that have jumped onto this, and they've almost created their own niche because they realise that all their competitors are on LinkedIn or on Twitter, and this lawyer guy's got about I can't remember who he is, but he's got about 4 million views. What he's tried to do is make law entertaining and interesting, educational, inspiring. So he's done all of those things. So he's broken down the stereotype of the typical suit guy. So I'm approachable. So it's very smart because what he's doing is he's trying to attract lots of of younger folks that, and then actually if somebody's cool on TikTok, that means they're approachable. That means they're so I do agree that it's I mean, I don't necessarily feel comfortable with dancing and prancing around, but that's not what Sherice, of course, is saying. It's about just finding where you feel comfortable, but never forget what we're trying to do here. We're trying to educate. We're trying to,
Yeah, it just needs to capture people, and
it
it
needs
might
to capture
take,
people. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it might take a moment initially to like reach the right people, because it might just be spread out initially to some people that you're like, not really my target. But as you begin to like people begin to understand what you do, the algorithm begins to understand who's actually like going to be interested in this, then you're more likely to find the right people there, essentially. So just stick to that. And like I say, you don't necessarily need a big following or huge views to even be successful in that, because if you say had 100 views, but in that there's 10 people who are really engaged and actually would like potentially contact you, then you've got like potential customers like just on the back of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you get the app up? I just think it would be really good to just show people all of the little functionalities. Only because I'm sure not everybody is up to. Are you able to show it on the screen? Just to
I
show.
don't know how clear it's going to see, but what would you like to see?
Or unless we all get our phones out, and is that easier? What would you do?
Yeah, I can
Slowly.
show some bits because it's just a bit reflective, so it's not like the greatest.
Okay, yeah.
Is there a desktop app for it, or is it all mobile?
So there is desktop as well. I tend not to use it, but because I know you can like upload videos through desktop if you wanted to. I just don't because I don't know how it would work with like adding text and that sort of thing. So that's a personal preference. It might work, but typically I don't think you can like scroll the For You feed and that sort of thing.
No, but it's uploading stuff. I really struggle to do it on my phone and get the right images. Everything's on the computer, not the phone. So
I see.
my
It
phone
is an option
memory
to
always
upload.
seems to be full. So yeah, if I could do it, that would immediately put me off, because I'm like already looking. I've just downloaded it right now. So
Oh, have you? Good.
I've just well, I did have it, and then I deleted it, and so now I'm just looking at it now and seeing if I can do a company profile or a personal one. But it looks like I can do what would you recommend? I mean, am I better doing Alison, or am I better doing Tickled Moon? Because I'd rather do Tickled Moon, but
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're focused around growing your business as like that, growing that profile, then I think it's quite handy to just go straight into the business one.
Yeah.
Obviously there's a lot of people that will grow obviously their brand through their personal page anyway. The biggest difference if you're going to have a business account versus a personal or creator account is the music rights. So you'll find that when you click that this is a business account, it won't let you use all sounds on the app because of copyright. So it will tell you though, it will tell you if you can't use this one. So typically like large songs like that are popular, like Ariana Grande, you're not going to be able to use that.
No,
if it's
of course
a mix,
not.
yeah. If it's a mix that someone's done, like someone's done an edit and like put these songs together, which you'll find quite frequently on TikTok, you can use those as well as like other sounds that are just like people's voice, because it doesn't have any like copyright on those. So it will tell you, and there will be songs that you can find because I've seen it before. That's the biggest difference.
It hasn't asked me if I'm a business account. I just set up an account, and then I've been just changing the name and the username. So that's what I've done.
I think it sets you up as default, probably to a personal. It doesn't ask you initially, but if you go into your settings, so when you're on your profile, there's like the 3 lines on the top right. You can change the creator the account type, sorry. Where is it under? Manage account? Yeah, manage account. And then
I'll just change mine to business now.
There you go. It's quite handy because I feel like the music industry has become more and more sophisticated to an extent and cracking down on music. So I feel like the restrictions will probably even over time keep like tightening up. So personally, I prefer to play it safe. I know some people suggest, oh, you could just switch to a creator account of your business to like access more music, but I don't know, I feel that's a bit risky personally.
Okay,
It's up to you
that's
though.
great. I've just done that as well, so that's super. In fact, what we should do for the last sort of 20 minutes or so is have the mute volume down, and let's just have the app in front of us, and then we'll just ask some questions of Sherice that's there. Gaz, you got your hand raised up. What would you like to
I
ask?
do. Yeah, first of all, my apologies for coming in a bit late, so I'll replay some of this to pick up on some of the stuff you've said. So great to meet you and some great nuggets you've shared. Again, when we have our children that are of an age that would see TikTok in the way that TikTok was really kind of put out there. I mean, my daughter, like a lot of you probably have had the family like mother, you better not. But the thing is, I am a dance teacher. I teach Bollywood burnout.
Amazing.
So for me, it was a great platform to really share the dance of the culture and everything because I teach in schools. So the other point was our target audiences. So although that's my one business, that would have attracted a lot of people to the Bollywood Burnout online classes because I could use that. So I get that bit, so I can tick that. However, because that's not my main thing. My main thing is, as Elena said as well, I'm a business person. It's my business is marketing, and I've just launched the $1 Million Lady Leaders. And so you've just answered one of the questions that I had, which was, do I go under Ghazala Jabin or $1 Million Lady Leaders? And because it's the $1 Million Lady Leaders, yes, but Ghazala Jabin has created that and wants to. So in my case, would I best open the account as Ghazala Jabin because I do have a domain name and I have everything, and the $1 Million Lady Leader sits there and then promote me, what I do, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, carry on.
No. I was just saying that's what was my first sort of train of thought was the Bollywood is fine, but I'm not really pushing for that one. I can have a separate account anyway.
Yeah.
But for now, where I'm going is I'm not going to be dancing about machine. The marketing machine is not going to be dancing. I love my dance, but my business head is like, seriously, like, just stop messing
Yeah.
about. I mean, like, when I had a guy I was talking to on a Bollywood on a beach, I'd have done a TikTok there with a 90-year-old walking the dog, and I'm doing the Bollywood beach just because I had done the classes. So that'd have been a fun thing to get the audience. But we have a research center, so there's a very sort of serious head to the business, and our research center has 400 researchers. And I was trying to promote the research center for life science, education, environment, and energy. And I decided, I'd seen a TikTok of children on there was a bridge built that was wobbly bridge above a swimming pool. And I was thinking the science behind that bridge, the fun part of education, the kids loving it, and some fall in that side, some fall in this side. And it was the dynamics of that. And I felt education was also fun learning. I got the research center researchers, Gaz, could you take that TikTok down? That's not really appropriate. We have some serious researchers. They ain't going to take our profile really serious on the research center. And I'm thinking, you guys are not getting it because we're in the trend of today, but we are trying to market and we are trying to be. And in the short period of time I had put it up, I got a lot of awareness of the marketing of it, which was what I was trying to do, is plate it. The key thing for me is, if we are doing that, are we getting the wrong audiences? And in order to get the correct target audience, what should we really be doing? And what's our basic beginning starting point on the right note should we be doing? That's my question, really. I know a long way about it, but I wanted to explain why and what.
No, that helps. Context always helps. So first question in terms of like personal versus like the business account, I kind of feel if it's something like, obviously you've got your like marketing business and you can put your expertise into that, I kind of feel it can be strong to work from a personal brand and then push to your business. So people will know you as your individual and you can share your learnings, your, whatever educational value and that sort of thing, as well as your values. But it points people towards like your LinkedIn bio where you've got like obviously your business, everything you're talking about leads back to your business. I think that can work quite well because I think still there's naturally a tendency on any platform just to be drawn to people like buy into the person. So I think that can work quite well. For you, Alison, I think it's different. Like if you've got a book company, I think it makes more sense to be the book personally. That's just there's something different about it. But marketing is a bit more personal led, I feel. So that would be my thoughts on that. In terms of like the right audience, I think this is the thing that's a bit Different and less specific, I would say basically on TikTok, because you don't necessarily know who that content is being pushed out to. So like in that example there, where you had a piece of content that isn't necessarily strictly done in the way that's like just about your business, then yes, that can fall and reach people that may not necessarily be your target audience, because it might have interested people in a different way just because of what it is. So you can't control that, obviously. People are just going to watch it, engage with it. I guess the point is, and if in a video like that, is if you have got the message in there somewhere, or people are going to your account and then can see why it is that video was there, like, because it shows how you were marketing. I believe that's what you said there in that situation. Then the hope would be that's going to be the reason those people would follow. Because videos can go viral, but people aren't necessarily going to follow unless you've got more of what they want. So if that video was positioned like in the caption or in the text or something to say who it was appealing to, even though it can have wider appeal, then you're not necessarily going to get all the followers from that just because people enjoy the content. It would hopefully bring in the people that you want. So yeah, I think it depends overall about your profile. I don't think those harm, basically. I think those can help because you're going to reach a load of people. And hopefully if people know what your account's about and you've made that clear, then you're going to attract the right followers still. And it just gives you a chance to get that exposure. But as like a consistent thing, like every day, it wouldn't be like those videos all the time. You'd have to go back to what it is that you are focusing on to attract the right people, because that's where the algorithm will be better at pushing it out to the right people who are actually engaging and are interested in this thing, if that makes sense.
Yes, that does, and I think also that mixture of the main content of who you are, what you're about, even if you got the fun element, but if it just boosts the numbers up for the awareness of your business, your profiling, that will help to stand out a bit more. Even people looking at it can see there's a good following and stuff. So I get that. So that makes sense. And if we're just starting out like baby people, just dipping our toes into the wild world of TikTok and braving it out. I mean, I'm quite crazy anyway, but in I have to put a different hat on sometimes.
Yeah.
I like Wurzel Gummidge, if you remember that. There's like a different head for the different thing. But anyway, so, how do we start on a baby steps now to get in? Is that a profiling of the messaging very much about us, who we are, all the things, and then start putting some basic stuff up?
Yeah, I mean, you want to know what it is that you're trying to, I guess, get across. What's your ultimate goal? Is it just to build a brand? Is it to get like the sales? Whatever it may be, know what your messaging is. Know who it is you're trying to speak to, because even though you can't necessarily control who that content is going out to, you can try and speak to that person to attract them. So all that stuff will naturally matter. And then when you've got a new account, your first few videos have a bigger chance of being pushed out to more people. So it's quite good to give those videos a bit of thought, not overly thought, like, oh my gosh, this is my only opportunity to reach people. It's not that. But those ones do tend to get pushed out more. Like I've had it on several accounts where like the first few, you can get like 30,000 views, even more sometimes, just because it's in that range of like 3 to 5 videos, and it's a new account. So it gives you an opportunity to try and reach more people. So that's the only thing I'd probably say in terms of like starting new. Obviously, know what it is you're trying to do, and that sort of message, who you're speaking to. But once you've got all that down, just give your first few videos a bit of thought. And
how long should they be? And how long should they be, Sherice, these videos?
It's all about the watch time. So I don't believe, because you can have up to 3-minute videos now. Typically, you don't want to long it out just because. So right. Okay. I would stay away from doing longer unless there's something meaty in there that you're giving and it really makes sense.
So what's the optimum then? What's the optimum length?
I prefer 15. Actually, I changed a bit now. I prefer 12 to 20. I feel like that's a good range for me. And I quite like
20
that.
seconds?
Yeah, sorry, seconds. Yeah. However, saying that, I've done longer form videos, say like a minute or 40, 50 seconds. And what I found on those, even though you don't have percentage wise, like it's not going to be like 80% of the video they've watched. Like on average, it might be, say, they've watched 24 seconds out of the 35 or something like that. There's actually a bigger leniency in terms of that watch time. So even though they haven't watched like the full thing, or they've got just halfway, it might still get pushed out to more people because it's still a longer video and you've kept them engaged longer on the platform. So that's the thing that that's good to be aware of. Basically, it's not going to harm you just because it's longer and people didn't watch that whole minute, because if they are watching quite a good chunk of it, they still count that as like quite good watch time, and that will help it to perform better.
And what about timing wise in terms of pushing it out? I mean, I often say there's no perfect time. It's when your audience is best placed. But
Yeah.
but that said, there's no point saying, oh, I get up early in the morning, I go around the lakes and I push a TikTok out there, and nobody's what I'm thinking everybody's up at 6 o'clock in the morning and nobody else is. So it is about understanding what the best time is. So I mean, for me, let's just take my example. For example, I'm like Gaz, not really on TikTok. I've messed around with it a little bit, but I know that there's a big opportunity here that I've got to get sorted. And I want to do stuff that's educational, and inspire. I've got lots of content there that I just haven't done anything with. But my uniqueness is the lakes. So I wanted to try and bring that education, but not just stuck in front of a video, have this amazing backdrop behind me when I'm talking, so yeah. When should I push that out?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because I've met people who literally post at any time, like literally 2 a.m. And then some people do 3 in the afternoon, some people do 10 a.m., like 8 a.m. Honestly, like people at any time. To a degree, it kind of doesn't matter because of how the algorithm, how the algorithm works. To a degree, I say. Because if people are starting to engage it, because TikTok works in the sense of like, yes, it will get pushed out to some of your followers, but it's also going to go to some other people that it thinks might be interested in this content. How are they engaging? Oh, they're engaging. It's going to get pushed out to more people. So it's not all about the time. However, I think you can help yourself by trying to catch people in the right, time zones. So
Yeah.
for me, my audience.
Oh, I see. That's a good point. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
if they're in America, they might be reacting to this at a different time zone. So that's a really good point, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because it is going to be based off that initial reaction. So especially as TikTok now is very location based, like typically my content will reach people in the UK. And a lot of UK content creators will have their content pushed to UK people, at least initially. So be mindful of that. Where are people at this time? And that sort of thing, and then go based on that. So I like to post between like 5 and 8 p.m. Like that's my time. I'm like happy.
And that's similar to Instagram, isn't it? So sort of that early evening time. That's good. And how often would you post? Like all of us together, say we're going to become potential TikTok stars. We're starting out at the start. Yeah. How many? Because it's all about consistency and regularity.
Yeah, no, I think
isn't
everything's
it?
about consistency.
So-
Yeah, no, it's just, like Eleanor mentioned, it is the same across platforms. Consistency does matter. So TikTok's one that you can play how you want to play, in the extent of like, if you went hardcore and you decided to post 20 videos a day, that's gonna really help you. Like if you did that. I don't have the energy for that. I don't have the time for that. I would not do that. But I've watched other creators do that.
Really?
Because so what happens, and you'll start to notice this if you look at like the analytics of like your individual videos, and you'll see how many, and if you're just looking at your own following page, like people you follow, you'll see videos not from like they've just posted that now. You'll see videos from last month, maybe a couple of months ago, 2 weeks ago, because not every single video, even though you're following someone, comes up on their following page. So there will be content that is just pushed out to random people and that sort of thing. So if you just do the numbers and the maths on that, basically, if you're posting more videos a day, then you have more of a chance of some of those videos appearing on that following feed. And I've had that experience where I'm following a creator and they're always popping up on my following page, like fairly consistently, because they have such a volume of content, simply by that principle. And obviously it does have to be good as well. You can't just put out rubbish, but it is interesting in some ways. So if you're putting out good, valuable stuff and you have more of it, you have more chances basically of hitting those people. That's what it is.
Okay.
However, yeah, like I say, I don't have the time or energy for that. And I know if you're running a business, you may be in the same position.
No, but so like three times a week, is that okay? If we did it,
I mean, you can grow and you can get what from TikTok what you want on, say, 3 posts a week. It's not what I would like say is ideal though. Ideally, I would say you want like 1 a day, ideally. But if you can't do that, then obviously whittle it down to what you can do. If it's 4 posts a week, 3 posts a week.
it's getting. I guess it's getting a moment. I mean, one of the things that I've learned in business over the years, in fact, the three of us are on this course together, is trying to find a rhythm. And that's the one word that has sort of been adopted by me, is this sense of trying to do something in your hour in the morning. And that might be you do an Instagram post, you do a TikTok post, you do these things. And you know what? If it's not at the perfect time, it's still within your. Otherwise, social media can overtake business owners. You know,
Oh God,
we've got to
becomes like no
realize
business.
we've got to realize we've got the day job to do here. And
Yeah, exactly.
and the other thing is that what about the saying that says, I'll tell you what, I'm too busy for this. I just want to go and hire some influence. I want to go and hire Sherice. So, which is effectively leapfrogging that. And that's obviously going to cost money. I mean, what would it cost to hire a typical influencer like you or somebody else that could do one of two things? A, take over their social media account. So say Gaz was saying, right, I tell you what, I'm really busy at the moment. I want to get going on TikTok, but I want to run a campaign for 1 month and I just want to hire you. Same with the other two. If they want to do that, they can. How much would something like that cost? Or option one, and option two. And I know you're going to say depends on a whole load of things. Option two is whether or not how much does it cost to typically just create a piece of content. So not take over their social media, but create a piece of content. I mean, typically you, I guess, would work with a brand, have a conversation with them, trying to understand what it is they're trying to achieve, educate them, and then perhaps brainstorm some suggestions as to perhaps what might work. You've got the knowledge of the platform, you've got the knowledge of the type of content that would resonate really well. So together you come up with some collaboration. So just give us, if you can, even a bit of a ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, so you to be aware of, like, creators can change, I guess, quite drastically to a degree in terms of like their pricing, especially as TikTok was a fairly new platform, and you think the creators on there didn't get on there typically before, at least, to like monetize. They got on there to create content. So a lot of them didn't know and still don't know how to price themselves, which means you do have a situation where TikTok is very underpriced for some creators, not all creators. It depends how much they know of the industry. So that's something to be aware of. So it can really fluctuate, and it depends on who you're going for. Obviously, if you've got someone who's got ridiculous views or ridiculous following, they might price themselves higher. What I would say, if you are going to choose an influencer to work with, always look at their reach. Obviously their content, first of all. This is just as standard. You need to know, obviously, that they fit your values. They could deliver your content in a way that you feel resonates like with their personality, as well as your own voice for your business. So those two have to be right. So if you've chosen someone based on that, they tick all the boxes, then look more so at their reach and engagement typically in their videos, because you'll find that, yeah, they might have videos that blow up, but there'll be like a sort of standard or sort of average typically that they might achieve for their videos. And obviously that's kind of what you want to be aware of when it comes to how much I'm going to spend on this. You can't put your money in hoping that it's going to explode, because that's not necessarily going to be the case. So make sure you put in something that you're happy with, based on that typical sort of reach. It can really range. I think you can get creators like who are getting like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views from anywhere between, like, at the low end it would be 200, where people don't really know to price themselves. At the high end it could go up to, like, it could go into the thousands if they're going to be really, really high reach, if they're getting hundreds of thousands of views. And that's again someone who probably knows how to price themselves. But more typically you're going to get like 400, 500, 600 pounds. I would probably say around that range is probably more typical for someone with that kind of view. Yeah, that kind of view.
So just go back again to what you said. So typically for somebody with 100,000 views, is that what you said? Would you
Yeah, it depends on their
you could be
following.
paying £500 for?
It's possible. Like I say, it depends on the creator and how much they know of themselves, how much they charge, what the content is as well, because two creators are not the same. Someone might spend an hour creating their piece of content and someone might spend 10 minutes
Oh,
because
no,
they're literally just standing there pointing to this, that, and the other.
I absolutely 100% agree with
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
So that's all. There's lots of different factors that go into it. So that's why it's really hard to say like, oh, it's going to be this. But typically you're looking more at the hundreds sort of price. Like I say, I think like probably between sorry, that's my laptop. £300 to £600 is quite typical. If you're looking at people with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views, that's quite typical. Unless obviously they've got a huge following, like they've got millions of followers, they're getting hundreds of thousands and millions of views. That's going to be a lot more expensive. But again, it all comes down to how much they know about how they should price themselves, because some of these people will be very underpriced.
Yeah, I know, and it saddens me about that really, because some of these people that do these things, you know. But look, we could go on and talk to you for ages. I want to say a big thank you for taking the time out today. I think the ladies all have enjoyed it immensely, and of course myself. We've got this on video. So how can anybody follow up with you if they want to? How can they find you? I mean, I think you've all got 3 more followers here, so that's increased.
Yeah, I just followed you.
It's increased your reach.
Thank you. The best place for me, I'd say, to connect is.
That's amazing.
Oh, thank you. No, I hope you like each found some bits useful in that.
Really help. Can I ask one quick question? If you're just starting out, what is there a good? What would you recommend as a good kind of how to understand TikTok guide? Do you do one, or do you have anyone else you recommend? How to get it?
To be honest, the best way to really understand it is to search on the For You page. Get used to actually just engaging with the content and seeing what's out there. There's no better way to actually understand what TikTok means, what it's about, what people are actually talking about, until you actually get a real feel for the community. So I would literally just go through the For You page. I do it just because I get hooked in anyway. But that's the best way to understand what people are talking about. You start to see different trends. You start to see the sort of language that people use, like I said earlier, like book talk, hair talk, the self-deprecating kind of nature, the way people are basically, and also inspiration for your own content. You'll get a lot of that from the For You page. I don't have any resources right now. That's something I'm looking to put out sorry, in the near future. So I don't have anything right now.
What's your? I mean, I can link the ladies up with your email if you want, or if you're happy to do that, then I'm happy.
LinkedIn is also the best place for me right now. So LinkedIn, connect with me on there. I'll accept you guys, and feel free to like DM me, and I can give you all my emails there if you want my email. Otherwise, you can reach me on DM. I will reply. And then I'll be starting a new page soon. I think I'll be doing more content on LinkedIn anyway, but I might be starting a new page on Instagram to talk about TikTok. I'm just debating right now whether I want to focus more on creators or businesses. So there will be information that can help both, but yeah, I'm deciding where I want to focus.
You should definitely do a Sherice TikTok guide too. I mean, a 5-pager or something. I mean, it's a classic ebook. You know, would be amazing.
Yeah.
You've lived and breathed it. You've got amazing results. I mean, we didn't even talk about the 24 million views that you got on one of your one of your series. I mean, insane. You know, it's incredible. So much more to you. So I think so. Thanks for taking the time out. I know it's short notice, but it's been really fun, isn't it?
Absolutely. I was hoping you're going to say to Sherice is there a part 2 to this? As the only getting onto it.
Part two. Yeah.
Really
Well,
insightful. I mean, I wasn't going to watch this morning because I just thought TikTok was like 80%, teenagers.
Oh,
But
no. It used to be that way when it was
50%
Musical.ly.
are above 35. I'm now like, ping.
yeah. Well, I tell you what we should do, Alison. It's something I talk about all of the time. Is go and have a look at what you would find are your immediate exemplars or competitors in your space, and have a look and see what they're doing, and have a look at their voice. And what they're pushing out, and start to monitor some of those contents. Because there's no point in me looking at a 27-year-old model who's got insane views, because that's not my target audience, much as I might like it. I've got to find something that that's bang on. I've got to find another marketing tutor or somebody that's talking, and how are they doing it, and what are they doing that's resonating, because otherwise, if I just play around with it and muck about and don't get it right, I'm not starting off in the right way. So I think it's about getting the foundations right, to be honest.
And I think another thing you said, Sherice, I think that really stuck with me was, you as an influencer have values to what you take on. And if we know what our values are, what we stand for, and the objective of us doing that for the right target audience, and get that message in a fun, entertaining, engaging way, I think we'll find our niche market audience, and people will start liking it, even from the younger generation, finding value to learn, isn't it? So, and you're right, Gordon, because we can be looking at having somebody do that, but we got to know who they're attracting, if they're an influencer, who their target audience is, and is that going to work for us?
Absolutely.
And it's so crucial just to have a moment to reflect of where we're at, what we're looking for, and then look at those type of competitors, see if they're getting good engagement, they're doing something right, and then maybe do our own take on it in our own unique style. So it's been really helpful, actually, in just to make that shift, actually, Sherice, because when Gordon said TikTok, and I thought, I'm shying away, but it's pulling me in. I'm shying away, but it's pulling me in.
Yeah.
Something's telling me, Gazala, you need to be getting.
And to be honest, the sad fact is, this is the lowest number of people I've had to the round table. So, and this, and that's not, I think that is purely because so many people have got a perception that TikTok is literally not my target, or, and yet the value that you've brought to us today has been incredible, So what we've got to do is we've got to put that on Influencer Marketing Secrets, and we've got to say how amazing Sherice is this morning, and why all the rest of you should have come to this session.
Yeah, you missed it.
I'm glad you guys were able to make it. I think I quite like small sessions anyway, because then you can get focused, like attention, feedback on what you guys want. So,
I totally agree. To be fair, I agree. Yeah.
We'll reach out to you, Sherice. Thank you so much for helping us with that one. Definitely
no
allows us
problem
to.
at all.
And Gordon, thank you for organising it as well. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. And I'm here to serve. All right, guys. Okay, well, have a good day, won't you? And speak to you soon, eh?
Take care.
Take care.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.